Hey everybody, how you doing? Today we're going to get into one more math review topic, and you're going to get an opportunity to try some of these on your own. And then later this week we'll be getting into some new stuff with math, okay? So what we're going to be talking about this morning are multiplying mixed numbers, okay? So you can see here we have 1 2/3 times 4 2/5. So one of the keys to this is remembering how to take a mixed number and convert it into an improper fraction. Okay, so what I start off by doing is taking the denominator right here, so 3, and I'm going to multiply that by the whole number, 1. So 3 times 1 is 3, and then I add the numerator. So 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. So 5 is my new numerator, okay? And then I leave the same denominator. So to write 1 2/3 as an improper fraction would be to write it 5/3, okay? So that's the whole key to multiplying by mixed numbers. Once we turn them into improper fractions, then we can multiply them like we would regular fractions. So 1 2/3 is equivalent to 5/3. Now 4 2/5, we're going to multiply. 5 times 4 is 20. Plus 2 is 22, so we get 22/5 here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to treat this like a normal fraction, and we're just going to multiply across. Numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. So my numerator is 5, and over here it's a big one, it's 22. For a lot of you, you may need to, on the side of your paper in the margins, on a separate piece of paper, you may need to figure that out. In sort of write it in working form, 22 times 5. When you get to be as old as me, you happen to know it in your head. So 5 times 20 is 100. 5 times 2 is 10. So 5 times 22 is 110. So 110 is my new numerator. And then 3 times 5 is 15. That's my new denominator. Now, two things. One, I'm not done because this has to be changed back into a mixed number. The other thing is that this can also be reduced. So I have a choice here. And this is really going to be up to you in terms of what you prefer. If you prefer, or if you feel like you're better at converting to a mixed number than simplifying the fraction, then you can convert it first. If you feel you're better at reducing the fraction, then I would do that first. So for me, I'm going to reduce the fraction first. Actually, you know what? With big numbers like this, it can be more difficult. So I'm going to convert this into a mixed number first. So the way I do that is this. I take my numerator, 110, and I'm going to divide it by my denominator, 15. Okay? So I have to figure out how many times, well, 15 doesn't go into 1, and it doesn't go into 11. So how many times does it go into 110? Well, here's a place where we'd use guess and check. Okay? Meaning we're going to guess how many times, and we're going to check and see if that works. So I like to multiply by easy numbers where I can. So over here, I'm going to do guess and check, and I'm going to do 15 times 5, because 5 is an easy number for me to multiply by. So 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7. So 75. 15 times 5 is 75. Well, I still have a little bit closer that I can get. So I'm going to increase that 5 a little bit. I'm going to do 15 times 7 is 35. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 3 is 10. So 15 times 7 is 105. Okay? So that's as close as I'm going to get. So 15 goes into 110 7 times. That equals 105. I subtract, and I get a remainder of 5. Okay? So now I'm going to take those numbers. Let me get a little lower here, okay? And the quotient here becomes my new whole number. So I get 7. The remainder becomes my new numerator, 5. And my denominator stays the same. So I get 7 and 5 15ths, right? Now, the last thing I want to do, remember, I decided to convert to a mixed number before I reduce. So now I have to reduce the fraction part. So I can say, well, 5 and 15 have 5 as a common denominator. So I'm going to, as a common factor, excuse me. So I'm going to multiply both of those by 5. And so the 7 stays the same. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 15 divided by 5 is 3. So my final answer to 1 2/3 times 4 2/5 is 7 1/3. 7 1/3, okay? Let's talk about what are the difficult parts of this. The difficult parts are there's a lot of steps, okay? And the difficult parts is that for each of those steps, it's something different we have to remember to do, okay? We have to know how to convert a mixed number into improper fractions. We have to be able to do some multiplication, including some bigger numbers, right? We have to be able to know how to turn it back into a mixed number, okay? Which includes some reasonably large division, okay? And then from there, we have to be able to reduce, okay? Which means knowing our factors. So there's a lot of steps and a lot of skills all rolled into one with this type of problem, okay? Sometimes you'll get lucky and you won't have to reduce. You'll have a fraction or an answer in simplest form already, okay? But pretty often you're going to have to reduce. So today, watch this as many times as you need to, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to move on and you're going to try these 4 questions on your own, okay? Later this week, I'm going to circle back. I'll share the answers to yesterday's questions, and I'll share the answers to these questions. And then I'm going to see where we're struggling, where we need help before we're ready to move on, okay? All right, good luck. I know you can do it. I miss you, and I'll talk to you soon.